Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Modify the formal order before 10 o'clock, right?
9:45. The popcorn kernels and jars. $6 in total. I'll text you that.
Yeah, don't get the popcorn. If you have up until 9:45, so after the class, let us do it. There are some things that I need to delete and add. Krishna Krishna, Hare
What? Doesn't get to you. Yeah. Yes, 5'8". No. 5'8".
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisance all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we will be hearing from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, verse 17. And we are continuing the chapter that we have been discussing and learning and understanding and also hopefully applying. And the chapter is entitled How Maharaj Parikshit Received the Age of Kali. Without further delay, we will start the recording, and we request devotees if the recording is not very clear, please do increase the volume on your end. We'll start the class, and hopefully we can have a takeaway or two at the end that we can share with each other and we can reflect on, and we can also learn from each other's takeaways. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tasya evam vartamanasya purvesham vrittim anvaham nati dure kila ashcharyam yad asit tan nibodha me tasya evam vartamanasya purvesham vrittim anvaham nati dure kilascharjam yadasit tannibodhame tasya evam vartamanasya purvesham vrittim anvaham nati dure kilascharjam yadasit tannibodhame tasya evam vartamanasya purvesham vrittim anvaham nati dure kilascharjam yadasit tannibodhame tasya evam vartamanasya purvesham vrittim anvaham tasya of Maharaj Parikshit evam thus vartamanasya remaining absorbed in such thought purvesham of his forefathers vrittim good engagement anvaham day after day not ati dure far off kila verily ashcharyam astonishing yat that asit was tat which nibodha know it may from me. Translation. Now you may have heard from me of what happened while Maharaj Parikshit was passing his days, hearing of the good occupations of his forefathers, and being absorbed in thought of them.
So the question was, how Maharaj Parikshit punished this Kali Yuga. The chapter name is How Parikshit Received the Age of Kali. So, why he punished the Kali? Because Here it is said, Purveshang vritti annaham tasya vartamanasya. You are situated always on the platform where his forefathers remain. This is called aristocracy. Every family or every caste family, first of all there must be division, then family, community, society, then family. So, Parikshit Maharaj belonged to the royal family. His forefathers all Bharat Vangsha, the Bharat dynasty. Therefore, you'll find the members of the Bharat dynasty is called Bharat. Bharat. Arjuna was addressed by Krishna as Bharat. Maharaj Dhritarashtra was also addressed as Bharat. Vidur was addressed as Bharat. Many times you have seen it. So, these descendants of the Bharata dynasty, not specially, all of them. When Parikshit Maharaj was born, so I have told you already, the learned scholars in astrology, they were calculating the horoscope of the newly born child. So, he was being described that this child, this baby now born, he will be hero like this, he will be devotee like this, he will be this horoscope man. In future, what he will be. So, Maharaj Yudhishthir was anxious and he informed the learned Brahmins that this is all right, I thank you for your calculation. First of all, I want to know whether he will follow his forefathers. I want to know. That was the question. Because that Bharata dynasty, they are rulers of the world, emperor and great devotees at the same time. Evam parampara pratam imam rajarishayo vidu. They were not emperors and kings, simply tax collector. No. They were rajarishayo, rajarshi. Rajarshi means royal majesty. But in their behavior, they are exactly like great saintly persons. Raja and Rishi. That is called Rajarshi. Raja means royal king. And Rishi means saintly person. There are many examples of Rajarshi. Just like Rajarshi Janak Maharaj, Rajarshi Prahlad Maharaj, Rajarshi Dhruva Maharaj, Rajarshi Yudhishthir Maharaj, Rajarshi Parikshit Maharaj, all the kings almost, when monarchy was accepted, that is the only thing. Monarchy must be accepted. But at the present moment, democracy means abolish monarchy and elect a rascal as monarch. This is called democracy. But after all, you have to accept a man This leg should not be spread before the deity. Monarchy, that is required, monarchy. Because a monarch is Rajarsi, he should be Rajarsi, a saintly person. Without being saintly person, how he can become representative of God? A king is supposed to be representative of God. So unless he has got godly character, saintly character, great devotee, how he can become the head of a state? Just like the demigods in the heavenly planets, the king of heaven is Indra. So Indra is materially very opulent, although they are after material enjoyment. You cannot compare their material enjoyment with this material enjoyment on this earthly planet. There are thousand times better standard. The duration of life, paraphernalia for enjoyment, facilities, so many things. They are higher and higher. As you go to the higher planet, they are higher and higher, 1,000 times. Just like in this planet also we see that some nation's standard of living is higher than other nation. Take for example, you Americans, your standard of living, from material point of view, you have got greater facilities, or you have created your own good facilities. Similarly, the more the intelligent persons are, they create their own facilities by the grace of God. Just like in this America, the red Indians are there, but they could not develop the country. But when the Europeans came and settled in this country, now this country has become the first class country in comparison to other countries. So it is the intelligence. So the standard of living, intelligence increases as you go higher. Urdham gachanti sattvastva. Urdham means higher. And adho gachanti tamasa. There are three qualities. The whole material world is being operated under the influence of three qualities. Trigunna Vishaya Veda, Nistrigunna Bhavarjuna. So, according to the quality, there are different grades of people. And that is called Chaturvarnam Maya system, Gunakarma Vibhagas. So, everyone is not on the same platform. Everyone is under the influence of some quality of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. So, there is division. So the Kshatriyas, they are supposed to be in the mode of passion, a desire for controlling, ruling. That is Kshatriya spirit, ruling. Therefore one Kshatriya king used to attack another Kshatriya king. The idea is not to take possession of others' property. The idea was that this king is not ruling nicely. Just like in your country you want to change the president, but forcibly he is sitting in his position. So, as you want good government, a good man as president, similarly, formally, although there was fight between the two kings, the objective was different, not to occupy one's property. not to become a big thief. You know the story of Alexander the Great and the thief. Alexander the Great arrested one thief and he was going to punish him. The thief pleaded, "Sir, you are going to punish me, but what is the difference between you and me? I am a small thief, you are a great thief, that's all. You are by force occupying others' kingdom and you have no right, but because you are strong, somewhere or other you have got the opportunity and you are conquering country after country, country after country. So I am also doing the same thing. So what is the difference between you and me?" So Alexander considered that, yes, I am nothing but a big thief, that's all. So he released him. Yes, I am no better than you. Just like dacoits. Nowadays, there are many thieves who steal scientifically, legally. There are many lawyers, many scientists. They do harm, but legally. Legal murderer, legal cheaters, so many things. We have got experience, every one of us. If you can protect yourself under the cover of law and you cheat others, then it is nice. But you cannot cheat the supervision of the Supreme, that you cannot do. A thief may steal secretly, but there is no secret. There is no secrecy for God. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, "Sarvasya chahang hridhi sannivishya." I am sitting in everyone's heart. So suppose you are planning to do something mischievous activity, you can cheat the man-made law or the man-made police, but how you can cheat Krishna? He is sitting within your heart. Sarvasya chahang hridhi sannivishya. I am sitting in everyone's heart. So whatever you thinking, feeling and willing, it is immediately being observed and noted. This rascal wants to do this. Besides that, this is inside. Then outside, there is sun, there is moon, there is day, there is night. Everyone, there are 8 kinds of witnesses. Whatever you doing. And karmana daivanetrena. Just like a man is punished according to his gravity of criminality, similarly, whatever you are doing, here everything is criminal in this material world. Everything is criminal. Therefore Chaitanya Chaitamrita Kar says, "Dvaite bhadra bhadra sakali saman." এই ভালো এই মন্দ সব মনোধর্ম। Dvaita means things which is not directly Krishna. Dvaita. Bhayang ditya viniveshatasya ditya. This ditya, this is called Maya. Ditya means second. The one is Krishna and Maya is secondary. Just like light and darkness. Darkness is not first. Light is first. And darkness means where there is no light. Where there is no light, that is darkness. Similarly, darkness has no separate existence. It is simply absence of light. That's all. Real existence is light. So whole creation is just like real existence is the sun. Try to understand, very easy. Sun, but when it is covered by the cloud, it is called darkness. Or it is covered by another planet, then we find darkness. Actually, there is always light. If you go through the cloud, you come to the sunshine, everyone has got the experience. Down, when you start your plane, it may be very dark. And then, when you go beyond the sky, 7 miles above, then you see there is sunlight. And again, if you start your plane in sunlight in the morning, in daylight, say in the morning, and go to the western side, you will find never night. You will find never night. Always light, always light. Sometimes we have got experience. We start from a place, say at 10 o'clock, and going western side, then after a few hours we see that it's still 10 o'clock and the light is there. This is our practical experience. So, actually, there is nothing material, everything spiritual. Spiritual means Ishavashamidam Sarvam, everything belonging to God. But when we think that there is no God, I am God, or it is mine, that is darkness. This consciousness is darkness. So Krishna consciousness movement means to be situated above this material conception. Aham mameti. Janasya moho ayam aham mameti. This conception that I am the proprietor and everything belongs to me, this conception is called illusion. And this illusion increases by mental speculation. Ultimately, that mental speculator remains in darkness, but he thinks that he has become liberated. This is another darkness. Another darkness. That is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jennera Vindhyakha Vimukta Manina. Here Vindhyakha, Krishna's name is we take him outside. Jennero Vindhyakha Vimukta Manina Tayyasta Bhavad Abhusuddha Buddhaya Arujya Krichena Parang Padang Tataha Patanti Adha Anadita Jismad Angraya. Prahlad Maharaj said, my Lord, Aurobindo Akhya, Krishna's another name, as I explained yesterday. God has no name, but he has got thousands and millions of names according to his relationship with the devotee or the world, like that. As I explained yesterday, Krishna is called Devaki Nandan because he has got relationship with Devaki. Therefore he has become Devaki Nandan. Krishna is called Jasodanandan. So similarly, Krishna's another name is Aurobindaksha. Aurobinda, because his eyes are just like petals of the lotus flower. Aurobindo Nabha. Aurobindo Nabha means Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, Garbhodak Sai Vishnu, from his navel one lotus flower is grown. Therefore it's called Aravinda Nama. So here Krishna is addressed, Hey Aravindakha, Janne Ravindaka. Je Anne, Anne means neglectfully others. Prominent men are especially mentioned. Here is Mr. Satan, and there are others. So these others, He Aravindaka, Jenne, who are that others? Jenne Ravindaka Vimukta Manina. The others means less intelligent class of men who are thinking that I am now liberated, I have now become God by mystic yoga, by meditation. So therefore it is called manina. Manina when they are thinking wrongly like that. Actually they are not liberated. Not liberated. They are in darkness because he is foolishly thinking that he has become God. How you can become God? What is your power? What you have shown like God? We accept God, Krishna, Lord Ramchandra and others by seeing his activities. Krishna at the age of 7 years old, he lifted Govardhan mountain, Govardhanadhari, Giridhari. So what you have, you cannot raise even 5 kilos of load and you are becoming God. So these so-called gods are accepted by so-called devotees. These are all rascals. Therefore it is called manina. They are thinking by mental speculation that I have become God. And what you have got power, what you have done, that you have become God. But they are foolish. They do not calculate the value of his, strength of his becoming God, but they are thinking. Therefore it is called manina. Then you can think at your home that I am the proprietor of the Bank of America. So you may become a crazy fellow like that, but to become proprietor of the Bank of America is a different thing. But these foolish men will think like that. I am God, I am moving the sun, I am moving. This is their meditation. Perhaps you know. These rascals, these dogs, not gods, they think like that. I am moving the sun, I am moving the earth. Therefore it is called vimukta manina. Manina, thinking, foolishly, thinking. Janneru vindaka vimukta manana. Why they are thinking foolishly? We see they are advanced in knowledge, they can put forward so many words about becoming God. That has been described by Siddhar Swami, Bhakchaturja. Their so-called explanation that they have become God, that has been described by Bhakchaturja, jugglery of words, to be fool, another fool. That's all. Therefore in Bhagavad, in another place, it is said that Sabiri Baraha Usta Kharoi Samstuta Purusappasu. Purusappasu. If one person who is not devotee, if he is praised as very exalted, so where from these praising words are coming? Now Sabir Baraha Ustakharoi. Such praising comes from the persons who are like dogs. So, Bir Baraha, these 2 little pigs, Sabir, Varaha, Ustro, camel, and Khoro mean ass. These classes of men, they praise such another big animal, Sabir, Varaha, Ustro, because anyone who is not a devotee of the Lord, he is not Rajarsi, Devarsi, he is not praiseworthy at all. He is a fool, he is a rascal. That is our conclusion. Now it is the real conclusion. Because Krishna says, Murha. Murha means rascal. Namang duskitinam murha prapadante naradhama. So our simple test is whether a man is devotee or not. If we find that he is a devotee, then we respect. Yes, here is nice. Vaishnava. Jamaraja says, offer my respect to the Vaishnava. But if we see that he is not a devotee, he is claiming himself as God, as the Supreme, then immediately, according to the formula of Bhagavad Gita, we accept Murha, because a Murha does not surrender. A Murha, that is the test. Anyone who has not surrendered to the principle of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Bhaja, that is the test. If he has not surrendered to God or Krishna, then he is Murha. That is also explained in the Bhagavad. Jannero vindakho vimuktamanina. Why they are so murhas? Just like cause and effect. If a man has no money, he is called poor man. Similarly, if a man has no such sense to surrender unto God, he is murha. He is murha. But thinking that he has become liberated, he is become one with God and he is God himself, everyone is God. Therefore they are murha. Jannero bindakha vimukta manina. So, it is, in good words, vimukta manina. And because it is said by Vyasdev, or a devotee, little respectful, vimukta manina, falsely thinking that he has become liberated. But when Krishna says, because he is the Supreme Lord, he says it is a murha, he is a rascal. Thus a father can immediately call his son rascal, or spiritual master can say, because superior position, rascal. Others, the rascal may be addressed in a ornamented language. He is to be proved a rascal, but some, for friendly sake, just like Krishna, when he was talking with Arjuna, he directly did not say, my dear Arjuna, you are rascal number one. You are rascal number one, because friend, but he did not say that. But he said, asacyananusauchastang pragyavadang sabhasase gatasun agathasumsa nanusauchanti pandita. My dear Arjuna, you are simply lamenting on this body. This is not the subject matter of lamentation. Actually, that is the fact. He was thinking that my grandfather, my brother, they will be killed, and he was putting forward great philosophy, this, that. Humbug. And after all, this body will be finished. Either your grandfather's body or your brother's body, we do not kill them. In due course of time, everything will be finished. That's a fact. Therefore, Asachan, why you are anxious for protecting their body? Asachan anusuchastam. And at the same time you are talking great philosophy. Pragyavadang subhasase. Philosophy means pragyavad. Asuchananushuchastam pragyavadang subhasase, but nanushuchanti pandita. One who is actually learned, he does not take very much care of these things. That means you are a fool. That means you are a fool. It is got parenthesis of that a pandit, a learned man does not do like this. It is called, what is the English time, I do not remember now, that if I speak that sometimes from my home this thing was stolen, and the man who stole, he looked like you. But not directly. You are the man who had stolen my property, but you can say, in a gentlemanly way, he looked like you. You see? So, similarly, Krishna says, anyone who is not surrendering unto me, who is not a surrendered soul, and thinking that he has become God, he is very learned scholar, Vedanti, these things are vimukta manina. Now I have no business to go to a temple. In our country there is a class, they have developed a system not to go to the temple. That is their propaganda. Not to go to the temple. Why you should go to the temple for finding out God? God is everywhere. If God is everywhere, why not in the temple? What the temple has done. If God is everywhere, then in the temple there is God. You may call deity worship as idol worship, but the situation created by deity worship, Krishna consciousness, practical. This was a church. This was a church. How many years ago? Since when we have occupied? 4 years ago. And because nobody was coming, so this church was sold and we purchased. Now why people are coming? The church or temple, if there is no God, so why people are coming? The same church. Because you could not convince them about the science of God. Therefore it was vacant. You cannot bluff all people for all the time. That is not possible. You must give them substance. Then they will agree, yes, there is God. So, Parikshit Maharaj, a special qualification, Swapudveshang Mahatmanam. This Mahatma I have already described. Mahatma means devotee. Mahatma does not mean a politician. Mahatma means simply Mahatmanustumang prartha devi prakriti masrita bhajanti ananya manaso. He is Mahatma. Ananya manaso. Without any deviation. 24 hours he is engaged in Krishna's service. That is Mahatma. That is Mahatma. So, Maharaj Parikshit's situation is described. Here it is said, Tasaiva Vartamanasya. How he kept himself always. Na Purvesham. Purvesham, the very word again, as it was used previously in the 13th and 15th verse. Sa Purvesham Mahatmana. You are so responsible that always thinking whether I am deviating from the path of my grandfathers, Yudhishthira or Arjuna. That was his. In this way he was always situated. That was his first business. Because his grandfathers were devotees, Rajarshi Yudhishthira. So he wanted to keep himself on the position of Rajarsi. And because he kept himself on the position of Rajarsi, therefore he was able to punish the Kali. Because at the present moment, there is no Rajarsi. All rascals and fools and animals are on the top of government. They cannot see what is Kali. They cannot see. Because he is also one of the members of the Kali. How you can see? Therefore the whole world is now being led by the Kali's agent. So they cannot check. Here it is said that Nati dure kilaschajang jadasit tannibodhume. Suppose if you are not yourself in healthy condition, you cannot understand what is unhealthy condition. If you are not a scientist, you cannot see how the other thing is not scientific. If you are not yourself a medical man, you cannot understand what is the disease. So Maharaj Parikshit, because he was Rajas, Purveshang Vritti Annaham, he was following strictly the occupational duty of his forefathers, Anu Ahani, day to day, not forgetting even for a single moment. Therefore, he could see what is that Kali. The Kali, we are avoiding Kali, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and no meat eating. These are Kali. You will understand from this chapter gradually. These four things are representative of Kali. Now at the present moment, all over the world, Kali's influence is going on. Almost everyone, 99.9%. You cannot say saint person because there are some saintly persons. So, take it, 99.9%. All under the influence of Kali. Illicit sex life, gambling, intoxication, and meat eating. So how these people can see what is Kali? He is himself under the influence of Kali. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj's situation, Vartamanasa, Tassaiva Vartamanasa, how he was being situated, in what position he was. Just like not to go so far as to go to Parikshit Maharaj, even those who are neophytes, trying to be beyond the range of Kali, our members of the Krishna society, because they have given up these four sinful activities, they can see how one is influenced by Kali. So this is the position. Therefore he could see. Now because the so-called leaders, so-called presidents, they are themselves agent of Kali, how they can stop this illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication? They cannot do. So you have to take shelter of the Shastra, and then you will be able to avoid it. Otherwise it is not possible. Thank you very much.
And very strong lecture by Srila Prabhupada, how he's really telling us what we see in today's times. I mean, this lecture was given in 1970s, and we're looking at this after 50 years, how what Srila Prabhupada saw at that time, we see it getting worse and worse and worse day by day, which is, Kali Yuga is getting worse, progressively getting worse day by day. And we even see in the leaders, of course, we don't have to go talk about the material stuff. That's always, we have enough people out there to talk about the material things that's happening in this crazy world. But at the end of the day, Srila Prabhupada is, what I'm getting from this lecture, Srila Prabhupada is telling us to take shelter of the Shastra. And at the same time, he's telling us to take, shelter of what we have in our Krishna consciousness. I would like to open up for any points that devotees would like to share, any takeaways, any lessons we have learned, realizations from this class. Please, you can either unmute yourself or you can raise your hand, or you can put a comment or a takeaway or a reflection or something in the chat, and I'll be happy to read it. One thing that came up for me is when Srila Prabhupada was, and of course, this lecture is given in Los Angeles. And if anyone has been to the Los Angeles temple, it's on Watseka Avenue. It was actually used to be a church, which still exists till this very day. And as Srila Prabhupada was speaking, he was saying that why did they get the church? Because there wasn't anybody coming to church, because they couldn't take God consciousness very seriously. And now we see the mercy that, that devotees got that church in the 70s, and then now it's a full-fledged temple that's been there since the 70s. And that made me realize how fortunate we are. Even in our situation, in our temple in Harrisburg, it was a Lutheran church. And they were losing members, they were losing donation, they were losing everything, and they couldn't run the church because their church members were not able to take their, commit to the mission seriously. And now we got the church and we turn it into a temple. And, since we've had it, by the mercy of the Lord, we've kept it open. We've gotten devotees, we've gotten all of you. And now with the mercy of Nitai Gaurachandra, we're getting even more mercy. Right now, it used to be a one-day temple. Now it's a 7-day temple. So we have so much opportunity to come during the week, to take shelter of Lord Nitai Gaurachandra, to sit before them, to chant, to sing, to dance, to take their darshan. So Krishna has given us the opportunity. There's such a huge blessing that the previous owners couldn't handle the church. Now we got it. Now it's a temple where we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and we are getting souls, people who are interested to come and learn. So I was realizing how merciful the Lord is towards us, and how we have to realize that mercy and really appreciate the little that we have, be grateful with what little we have, and really take it seriously. I was remembering Kratu Prabhu's point a few years ago in one of his classes, where he mentioned the urgency for Krishna consciousness. And I remember even in the late 90s to early 2000, even my spiritual master said the same thing. We have to have that emergency consciousness for Krishna consciousness. Because one day to the next, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's very important that we have a temple, we have the lordships here. We should definitely, in some shape, form, or manner, find a little bit of time every day, every other day, at least during the week, once a week, besides the Sundays, at least once a week, to come to the temple and really take shelter, take darshan of the deities, because, we're very, very fortunate. So I was really appreciating Srila Prabhupada's point of how, the churches are falling apart, but we are able to get that, to turn it into a temple for the Supreme Lord. So that was my realization, to really appreciate what we have and be grateful, and really, take it very seriously. Like Srila Prabhupada says, to take shelter, take it very, very seriously. So yes, Prikshit, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Jai, accept my holy obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Yes, powerful lecture. So many points Srila Prabhupada digressed. The point, the class itself was about Parikshit Maharaj being in, constantly thinking about his predecessors, Maharaj Yudhishthira and so on, and how they related to Krishna. And so much, absorption in that way. But then he touched on so many other points. First, about Parikshit Maharaj following his predecessors, he went into defining what Raja Rishi was. a saintly person who is also king. And he gave a few examples: Janak Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj. Monarch, he said monarch should be a saintly person, otherwise he cannot represent Krishna. A saintly person, a leader, should be the representative of Krishna, but if he's a rascal and not godly or saintly, how can that person represent Krishna? So he talked about the heavenly planets too. So much facilities there. But one of the few things that was quite interesting is he talked about the kings of today of Kali Yuga, and they are not at all, connected with Krishna. One situation he gave about Alexander the Great arresting one thief and getting ready to punish him, but the thief said, "What's the difference between you and me? You're a big thief, I'm a small thief." So he said, you're taking things that's not yours, and I'm taking things that's not mine. You do it on a larger scale than me. So we're all both thieves. And Alexander the Great had to see that thief's point of view. Then he made one important, the more serious things talk, one can cheat man-made laws, but you cannot cheat Krishna's laws, because the Lord is in the heart. Paramatma is in the heart. It sees everything that's going on. Everything that's going on. So these are some of the points that I put down for the lecture. Hare Krishna.
Very powerful points. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. She probably made a lot of comments. Yes, go ahead. You unmuted yourself. Do you want to say something?
Are you talking about me still?
Yeah, because you unmuted yourself.
Oh, okay. No, I did not. Well, I was still unmuted. I didn't mute back,
Oh,
but
okay.
I can say a little more. That's okay.
Let me check if others would have any takeaways. If others would like to say something, please do unmute yourself. We would love to hear your takeaway. And please don't think that our takeaways are silly or it doesn't matter, because many of us may not, all of us may not have thought a takeaway that you have. So it's really, really important that we hear any takeaways you have, any reflections or realizations, anything that really hit you, anything that lesson that taught you. Please do share with us, because we are very eager to hear if others have other takeaways too. So this was a very powerful lecture, as Parikshit said, very, very powerful. There's so many lessons. And at the end of the day, and again, yes, Aditya, I'm happy that you're going to share something, Aditya. Go ahead.
Hey ho, hey Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance.
Accept mine, or Grace Prabhupada.
My grace profile, yeah. Thank you. I only, I guess, thought of my realization or takeaway because of your emphasis of sharing it. So thank you for that. I guess my takeaway is mostly the fact that I was wondering, from where does Prabhupada establish the four regulative principles? Because I don't see it too much extensively in Bhagavatam, like content-wise, but it's addressed so much in the purport itself. And so from there, Prabhupada explains that these are the aspects of Kali Yuga. And so to rid ourselves of the aspects of Kali Yuga and to not be too much affected, we follow these four regulative principles, which is really interesting to think about, because it's like Prabhupada's got our back. And specifically because if you look at any other, even Gaudiya traditions, from other descendants of gurus of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they don't have such an established principle or philosophy of following the four regulative principles. They suggest that you should do it, and this is what you should do, but it's not as strict as the regulative principles that Prabhupada has established, which is like great for us, because it leaves us no option except to accept Prabhupada's but looking for us as a father, which is really nice.
Yes, that's a very nice takeaway, Aditya. You're right, because I'm just reading this line here where he says, so take it 99.9%, all other the influence of Kali. Then he mentioned the four regs. So how these people can see what Kali is, they are under the influence. You're right, absolutely. Very good point. Yeah, that's a nice takeaway. Because Prabhupada says, because it's only from these four that we can get rid of, can we come up to the mode of goodness and transcendence to really understand Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
And he's very firm about it. You're right. Very, very, very strict. Very strict.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to bring us to that level of mode of transcendence.
Yeah, and we're taking birth in this Kali Yuga. It's a long shot, a long way up there, but Prabhupada's setting a high standard. So when we can achieve that standard, it's possible.
Yes. Yes. It's a long shot. You're right. But you said it's possible. You're right. It is possible. By the mercy of the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada and the devotees, anything is possible. You know, we just need the right group to help us grow in that way. But yes, it is. Because Prabhupada wants us to go home. You know? He wants us to get out of this crazy cycle of birth and death. And these four principles, that's what's pulling us down, you know. And then if we look at the four legs of the cow, right? And then it reflects to the four pillars of religion, and they all tie to these four of principles. Same
I see. That's a good point. Well, so the four legs, could you, I think I forgot, one's truthfulness.
One is cleanliness.
Yeah.
One is mercy, truthfulness, and I forgot the fourth one. Probably my husband can help me.
Austerity.
And all the four ties to these four principles.
Interesting. That's a good point. Yeah.
Right? So all the 4 points of the pillars of religion ties to the four principles that's going to help us get out of this crazy world, which is Kali Yuga. Yeah, yeah. Prabhupada was a genius, wasn't he?
Yeah, he taught so much for us and fought for us so much.
Yes, he did.
For our well-being.
A lot.
Yeah.
Amazing. Very nice takeaway, Aditya. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you for your enthusiasm and persuading us to share.
Thank you for allowing me to persuade you. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? And like I said, Aditya, see, even you're sharing, we all learned. So that was nice. It was really nice. We learned, we reminded ourselves, and you know, it changed our thinking, like, oh yeah, that's right. You know, Prabhupada was really, you know, hardcore on these principles for a reason. So yes, we all can learn from each other's takeaways. Absolutely. Anyone else would like to share a takeaway, a reflection, a realization, something that really dawned on them on this amazing thing? Yes, Priksha, my husband, go ahead.
So one of the things I learned new, one of Krishna's name, Krishna, it says there's so many names based on his activities relating to his devotees. We talked about that. He had talked about that earlier in the text before that. Now, this one, Krishna is Arvindaksha. Very nice name.
Yes, even I didn't know that. I learned something new too.
Yeah,
great.
One whose eyes are like lotus petals. Arvindaksha. Very nice.
Yes, I heard that the first time too. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes.
Although I know devotees who have been named Arvindaksha Das and so, but I never knew what it meant.
Yes.
So now Srila Prabhupada has pointed it out, which is wonderful. So
one
I wanted
whose
to
eyes is lotus, is that what Prabhupada said?
One whose eyes are like lotus petals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Powerful. Very nice. Yes, thank you. Yes, that was also one that I caught. I said, wow, I didn't know that was one of Krishna's names. He has so many names. Unbelievable. Thank you for bringing. Yeah, that was nice. Yes, Arvindaksha. Very beautiful name. Now that we know the meaning is like, wow, right? One of Krishna's names. Very nice. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah,
sorry.
It said even not in this particular lecture it's given, but Krishna herding the cows when they was little and herding the cows. When the first day that he had gotten to that age, past 5, 6 years old and now they were no more. They were not tending to cow. Him and the cowherd boys were not tending to cows and not cows. It's mentioned that this is in Gaga Samhita, that the cows were really, really juggling to be very good they were trying to look at Krishna's face. They're drinking the beauty of his face. The cows were doing that. It's very, very interesting. And now we hear that, having Daksha also means whose eyes like lotus petals. So, it made me think about that ties in.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice connection.
Yeah.
That was
So,
nice. Yeah, that's
the
right.
cows like to look at Krishna so much. And now in the temples, the deities are dressed so nicely so we can look at them, very opulently dressed. And it makes the whole thing about coming to the temple so great. It's when you look at, Nitai Gaurachandra dressed so nicely now at the temple. It's just quite a spectacle every time. Sundays we get to see. Some see every day, but most of us once a week we see them beautifully dressed. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes, yes. It's so nice to see the Lord. So beautiful. Absolutely. So beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share a takeaway before we end the class? Any thoughts, reflections, anything that's coming to your mind? If there isn't, we thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you online tomorrow morning for our Bhagavatam class. Until then, Vancho Krapatubhyascha, Kripasindhabeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful day, devotees. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.